Really? I'm gone for 5 minutes and you just take my book throne? Yeah, quit your whining. The rightful heir has returned. It is time for me to do the Quirky collab tag, which I could have gotten the name wrong because I forgot to look it up before I sat down and did this, and you might notice I have some paper here because this is way too much information for me to remember, so yes, I'm cheating a little. This video tag was started by Georgina over at BritishBiblioholic and had tons of collaboration from different booktubers, including myself. We all asked at least one question as sort of an introductory question to all of you booktubers who want to participate. The first question is, what is your favorite book? Ooh, the favorite book question. I am horrible with picking favorites. And by favorites, I mean a singular favorite. I have a lot of favorites, and that's kind of the problem, is I have more than one of everything. So, whenever somebody asks me what my favorite thing is, especially in today's questionnaire, I usually have more than one answer. So, I'm sorry, but there it is. It is Artemis Fowl, The Arctic Incident by Owen Colfer. The reason for this is that this book has been on my top favorites list more often and for longer periods of time than most any other book. Who is your favorite author? We might have issues here. I am gonna go with Owen Colfer or Shelby Bach, although Brandon Sanderson is kind of creeping up the sidelines. Do you prefer to read standalones or series? I have been reading a lot more standalones lately, but I am gonna have to go with series because standalones, whenever I finish it, I always want more. And even though that happens with series, at least I get more. Would you rather read a standalone book over and over again or a series over and over again? Same deal. With a series, there's just more to it, so I would want to read a series over and over again. Do you have a favorite booktuber? And if so, who? Georgina at BritishBiblioholic. Of course. In all honesty, I don't know that I really have a favorite booktuber. I haven't really watched enough videos to obtain one yet, but that is something that I'm working on. 2015 reading goals! What got you into reading, and what got you into BookTube in the first place? Well, I got into reading because I moved. I didn't know anyone. It was the middle of winter in Oregon, so it was raining all the time. Going outside wasn't really an option. We had no cable and a limited number of movies. I literally had nothing to do, and so I discovered books, finally. And I've had my face in one ever since. As for BookTube, I actually don't remember. I was trying to get started doing book reviews and publishing them online because it was something that I found that I really liked doing, and one day I just came across a video of a book review that somebody had done on YouTube, and I thought, that's a really, really good idea. I would probably be good at that because I'm a total ham and I love to talk to myself. When I really started looking into starting a YouTube channel, that's when I discovered that there was actually an entire community dubbed BookTube. Pick your favorite fictional character and then pick their favorite fictional character. So I'm looking at my sheet here and I realized that I never actually answered this question. So we'll just go with something completely random. I pick Fletcher Moon from Half Moon Investigations, and I think that his favorite fictional character would probably be Sherlock Holmes. Which fandom, or fandoms, are you a part of? I'm a Hoovian Browncoat One-Sir character, that's Ever After's Avatar. I also love Marvel and Disney, Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and there are probably a lot more that I just can't think of right now. Sherlock! I love Sherlock! Out of all the fictional characters that you know of, which character would you want to be, but which character would you be in actuality? You know, this is probably the question that I most dreaded answering, which is funny because this was my question. I would most want to be someone super awesome like Holly Short from the Artemis Fowl series or Ella from the Hero's Guide series, but in reality I bet we all kinda know that I'd be more like Princess Addie from the Two Princesses of Bramari or Jo from Little Women. If you could try any fictional food from any book, what would you eat? A Redwall feast. I realize that I'm basically cheating because I picked an entire meal instead of a dish, but can you blame me? Pasties and pastries and zoops and salads and strawberry fizz. I probably spent half of my childhood drooling over the delicious descriptions of the food in Brian Jakes' Red Wall series, and I'm really not ashamed to admit it. If you were a book genre, which genre would you be, and which book from that genre would you be? The genre would definitely be fantasy. As for the single book, I'm probably thinking The Two Princesses of Bamari by Gail Carson Levine, because it's kind of who I am, and it's also who I want to be. So I don't know, I think it kind of sums me up. If you could write your own book, what would it be about? It would be about a boy who wants nothing more than to be brave and a hero to his little brother, but in reality, he's actually terrified of everything, and his brother thinks he's a joke. Oh wait, I'm already doing that. Bazinga! If you could be best friends with any YouTuber, who would it be? Oh, you mean just one? I can't just pick one. David Hewlett, the cast of Studio C, the Piano Guys. I totally have talent, right? I would actually turn it on and play it horribly, but it doesn't have any batteries, so. What is the most embarrassing thing you can do in the world of BookTube, in your opinion? Uploading an unfinished video. And that is how lame I am, ladies and gentlemen. Turn around and look at your bookshelf. Now look back at the camera. Now look back at the bookshelf. Pick any one book whose title you would give to your autobiography. I would go with Half Magic, which technically isn't on my bookshelf right now. It's actually somewhere in this pile of books that I am sitting on, but you know, tomato tomato, that totally counts, right? So Half Magic, and the reason that I would pick this title is because I am a writer, and to me, writing is almost a form of magic in itself. If, for one entire year, you could live the life of a fictional character, who would you choose? There's a note here that says, no Harry Potter allowed, which really isn't a problem for me. I would choose Thursday, the Pirate Queen from the Woodcutter Sister series by Alethea Contis, because she is just all kinds of awesome. Would you rather live life for 100 good years or 50 spectacular years? I really want to say 50 spectacular years, but honestly, I know that I would be content with 100 good years. It's probably closer to reality, so that's what we're going with. Picture a future where YouTube no longer exists. What can you imagine yourself doing to share your passion for books instead of doing videos or social media? I would probably get a lot more pushy when recommending books to my friends and people at work. Because when you read something that's just amazing or horrible, you have to talk about it to somebody, right? So the patrons at my library would either love me or hate me. If you could have any sort of superpower, what superpower would that be? I've always wanted to fly, so I would probably pick flying. What are the perks of being in a book club or group? And if you aren't part of a book club or group, like the top 5 reasons. Falling apart here. I do not belong to a book club, though I am hoping to find one this year. So my top 5 reasons would be, someone would point out the things that you missed in the story. You could probably understand and appreciate more depth of the story. You'd get to discuss it with somebody. It would help me improve my debating skills, since I would probably disagree with people there on a regular basis. Books plus people equal a total win. If you had to label your gender without using the regular labels, how would you describe your gender? I would probably describe women as nurturing, or caring, or supportive, and on a more personal note, hysterically funny and fun to be around. What is your first memory of being really excited? I was probably 6 or 7, and my dad promised my sister and I that he would take us to Disneyland, but we had to wait until we were tall enough so we could ride on any of the rides that we wanted to. It wasn't until almost 10 years later that we finally went, but we totally held my dad to that promise. If you could combine any 2 supervillains or superheroes and be that combined character, who would you pick and why? Okay, so I feel like I didn't answer this question really well, but here we go. I would pick Green Lantern because he can basically do anything with that magic ring of his, and Spider-Man because he's awesome. If you could learn to speak a language overnight, what language would you choose? My preferences would probably be either German or Hebrew. How's that for random? If you could turn any book series into a television adaptation, which one would you choose? And why? Well, since Half Moon Investigations was already done, even if it didn't last that long, I would say The Reckoners by Brandon Sanderson because, I mean, superheroes. That would be awesome. And The Finnegan's Wakes Mysteries by Michael Dahl would just be really fun. It's basically like a kid's murder mystery story, so that would be interesting to see how they would pull that off. And that's it for me! And I just realized that I have nobody to tag in this video. So let's pull some people off the top of my head here. We're gonna do Marissa at Little Spider 9, Stacie at MagicOfBooks, and I know that there are others that I want to add that I can't think of right now, so they're probably gonna be listed at the end of this video, so I will tag them as well. Alright, I guess this is it for today. I will see you guys all later. It's probably about time I took this thing down, huh? Don't forget to find Coulson!